Did the Supreme Court truly take away a long-held constitutional right? Did such a right truly even exist? We'll talk about that next, but first, as always, we start with our mission.
Always remember, God created us for this time and for this place. If we learn this faith, if we live this faith, if we share this faith, what will the next 100 years look like? Join the mission.
It has been about 2 weeks since that earth-shaking decision came down, and since that day, political pundits and talking heads have repeatedly accused the Supreme Court of taking away a protected constitutional right, claiming that this is the first time in history that the Supreme Court has taken such a right away. And they repeat this refrain with the shock of disappointed little children who have been told their entire lives that they can do whatever they want. You can be whatever you want. You can say whatever you want because this is a free country. Because this misunderstanding of freedom, confusing liberty for license, has gone unchecked for so long, it has unfortunately become a universal and infallible principle that guides and directs every aspect of this society. And honestly, such a universal principle that this is a free country and you can do whatever you want, it might have never been a problem whatsoever, so long as the people who made up the society were in fact virtuous people. Because virtuous people honor and respect ethical norms. But unfortunately, this society long ago abandoned any semblance of virtue, preferring instead the pursuit of pleasure and indulgence. We have torn down the culture of our grandparents, building in its place this hedonistic paradise, a society where you can, because of that universal principle, have anything you've ever wanted. Long-term viewers may remember the story of the woman in the grocery store cussing at the cheese. When I had the nerve to tell her to shut up, she responded, "It's a free country and I have freedom of speech." Really? So that's what independence means to you? Standing in the grocery store, cussing at cheese in front of little children. And here's where the confusion resides. The Founding Fathers did not include terrible and awful things like cussing, porn, or even murder in the Bill of Rights. But millions of self-centered, intemperate people with no self-control, who have no patience whatsoever, were raised being told blanketly that this is a free country. You can do whatever you want. But without any clarification about what that means, about what it means to be free, let alone how this country became a free country in the first place. And this, I think, is the primary cause of so many of our social controversies. When such individuals would like to satiate whatever passion they find inflamed from one moment to the next, such as losing their temper at cheese in the grocery store, but then they're abruptly confronted and interrupted by society's few remaining ethical principles, nope, this society kind of rejects the idea of losing it in front of small children because you can't scan cheese at the register. So how can you get around this moral dilemma? I want to cuss. The people in the grocery store, they're getting kind of upset about that. They don't seem to like that. I know. Why don't I defer to the infallible universal principle? It's a free country. I have freedom of speech. So the freedoms in the Constitution then become an umbrella by which I can disguise things that were previously universally considered unethical. I can cuss, or I can distribute lewd material, all in the name of my rights, my freedom to do whatever it is that I want to do. And that brings us back to the Supreme Court, which, as they claim, has taken away a sacred right that was enshrined in the Constitution for almost 50 years. Have you ever noticed how they wrap their manipulative language with religious terms? Sacred rights, enshrinement. Which right was it that the Supreme Court took away? The right to privacy? Did the Supreme Court take away your right to privacy? No, actually they did not. What they did was they took away a purported right to kill an innocent human, which somehow got slipped under the umbrella of the right to privacy. You see, we all agree killing an innocent human is completely unethical and should everywhere and in every way be completely prohibited and illegal. But somehow it was finessed under that right to privacy thing. The advanced scientific community of the 1970s confused what we all knew was a human with something inanimate, calling it a simple clump of cells. You see, if the concept of humanity, what it means to be a person with rights, can be made to seem to be ambiguous, and if we're really not sure what it is that we're looking at, then we could shift this issue away from ethics and make it a medical issue. Therefore, it could fall right under the umbrella of a right to privacy. But now that modern scientific technology has proven that term, a clump of cells, to be false, the Supreme Court did what any of us would do in that position. They called a spade a spade. They clarified there is no right to take an innocent human life under the umbrella of the right to privacy. The right to privacy is not a license to commit unethical acts, whether that is in the privacy of your bedroom or in the privacy of your doctor's office. No supposed right gives anyone a license to do horrible things, to do unethical acts, or to commit crimes. We have to ask ourselves a difficult question. Not is there a constitutional right to do horrible things, but rather, should we be doing horrible things at all? And why would anyone want to in the first place? The kids who got into these vans weren't just leaving home, they were leaving behind the culture of their parents, their values, their traditions, to create a new world, a better world. So what do you think? Did it work? Is this a better world? Or have we become more selfish, more self-absorbed?